Hello everyone, welcome to BP Talks. My name is Ochuko, and today I'm excited because we're having yet another episode where we're going to be discussing about, of course, industry conversations. With me here in the studio, I have Head of Marketing at Givanas. Her name is Vivian Akindele. You're so welcome to the studio today.
Thank you so much.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how excited are you to be here?
Scale of 1 to 10. I was a 10.
Interesting. I'm so excited that you're here. So we'll just dive in a little bit, and I'm going to be asking some questions. And the first would be, what was your first shot at marketing like?
Interesting question, I would say, because I actually traveled a lot of rivers before I got that first shot.
Sounds interesting.
Yeah, so I started basically with sales.
Okay.
And that was back then in Guinness.
Okay.
And from sales, which was very interesting because at the time we joined as sales executives, there were really no ladies there, again, because of the kind of industry. So it was litmus test to see if we could. The company actually took a gamble on us to say, yeah, there were 5 of us that were taken at that point in time. And the gamble was, let's see if these ladies will succeed. Stuff, man.
Wow.
Yeah, because it entailed you going to clubs at night. So you could walk till 3 a.m. in the night. Because you have to be in the club. You have to be sure that what you have sold in is being consumed.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, we did quite well. And based on that output of the 5 of us, the business went further to take more because we actually, I don't want to.
They paved the way.
Eventually. Yes. So they were just amazed at what the ladies brought in the mix. And so we had now a lot more ladies being brought in there. And they were quite compassionate because the job entailed you driving a pickup.
Wow.
Some couldn't drive.
So did you drive at any time?
Of course.
So you drove the pickup?
Oh, yeah. And I was this smallish little girl that, because I had low cuts then and I didn't go up to 45.
You look very rugged.
Surprisingly, no.
Wow.
That was always what shocked the customers that I met, the retailers. So like, how can they bring a small girl like this, driving this big pickup? And it was in Enugu. So it was strange for them to see a lady driving a pickup. You see a big pickup loaded with drinks and then you see one little girl coming down from it. Strange. It's like, what's going on here? But it was fun for me. I mean, it was exciting because though I was sales, I was indirectly also practicing a bit of marketing because you have to make sure what you have sold in, the consumers take it. They consume it. Or else you can't sell it the next time you come in. Wow. Retail just say your product is still out there. So you had to be creative. You had to think of what kind of activity would I do in this place. In the alcoholic beverage industry, the channels are actually referred to as on-trade and off-trade.
Yeah.
So we're on-trade.
Wow.
And on-trade means the consumers are sitting there and drinking. Off-trade is they take it home. They buy it. So probably from neighborhood stores and they take it home and then they drink it. So we had to be creative. And I was in a place where our competitors, that was their base. So, when you have, how do I put it now? Okay, I'll use the Bible story, David and the Goliath. So you have to think smartly. For every retail store that I go into, I have to think of how to build, not just selling the profit story to the retailer, because that's what matters for him or her, but also helping them to build their stores, their businesses, so developing over and above just my sales. I'm also developing business relationship, personal relationship, so I can get that emotional connect. So you see what happens in the sales also translate. That's what happens in marketing. So building that emotional connect.
Yeah.
So in marketing is building it with your consumer. In sales is building it with your distributors, your wholesalers, or your retailers.
Amazing.
So
That's a wonderful shot. We started in a very unique way, I must say. There are a couple of questions that I have, and one of them really is in the line of, so the conversation we're having today is the major difference between branding and marketing. And it's important that we understand that when people define them, people confuse them. And we just want to hear from your thoughts, because I want to believe that you must have done multiple campaigns year in, year out, over and again, and you've seen brands win, you've seen failures, you've seen many things. Now, for someone who is not even in marketing or doesn't have a background in marketing, what is the difference between branding and marketing?
It's interesting, I would say, because once you don't have that clarity, at the end of the day, everything that you're building would actually just, fall apart. So branding basically is what's analogy is now. So when you're building a house, branding is that foundation.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So branding is who you are. What is that product? What does it mean? What does it stand for? What are the values? What's the personality? It has to be clearly defined, because that's what builds the long term. Branding builds, actually, it's your long term strategy of how you will constantly win with your consumers, that they remain loyal to you. Marketing is a how. How do you discover me?
That's interesting.
Yeah. So again, I'll go back to the analogy of the house. I said branding is the foundation. Yes. So marketing is the landscaping you do, the painting you do.
Wow.
The for sale message that you do. What marketing does is short-term tactical strategy that helps the consumer, your target audience, to discover you, the brand.
Wow.
And basically, like I said, it's short-term or mid-term tactical strategy. So marketing helps to create that awareness, and also helps to drive to the final destination, which is sales.
Yeah. That's interesting, because we see quite a difference between, some people do things differently today in our time. I think a lot of people, so maybe I should ask you instead, from what you notice, what do you think brands pay attention to, branding or marketing?
Both are important. So first and foremost, if you do not clearly define the brand, marketing is going to be difficult. You end up spending a lot of money pushing, because the brand is weak. You have not you've not identified who your target audience is. You've not clearly defined to your target audience what you stand for, the brand positioning. Marketing will be difficult, because then you end up doing a lot, trying to convince them, and they might just not buy it. And, right now, the society we are in, the Gen Z generation that we're in, it is way beyond just the features of the brand. It's now they want something that they can identify with, something that, shows them in it. It's like my lifestyle resonates with the brand that I'm associating with, something that they trust. So today, that emotional connection is what the today target audience is looking for. So if as a brand you have not clearly defined that, when doing your branding and defining everything around the product, you are just all about the future of the products, you would not get their trust. You not get their buying. You lose them.
Interesting.
So what you see a lot of brands do brands that have actually made it. It's to combine, to make sure they are working hand in hand. The branding is clearly defined, and then the marketing that goes,
What makes a brand timeless?
constantly innovating. Constantly
And the
innovating.
reason I asked you this is because we have seen over time that we have brands that as far back as, say, the 60s, and they're still as relevant
As today,
today.
because they constantly are innovating. That's one. Two is, a lot of people believe that marketing is just what I call it. How do I put it? They don't know that marketing is actually a science. So for you to remain relevant, you also have to make sure you are doing those researches to understand your target audience. As your target audience are evolving, so also the habits, so also everything about them. And so for your brand to constantly remain relevant, you have to have that clarity, that understanding. You have to constantly do those consumer immersion to understand, am I still relevant to my target audience? What are the changing habits? Because habits do change, generation to generation.
Absolutely, I did.
So today generation, remember, the Gen Z, they are the online babies. They started up being, all the time in the social media.
And speaking to that, actually, did you ever see this coming?
Honestly, with you. No. I think it's the COVID era that actually just changed it. We saw it, but we all thought it was going to take a lot of time. We thought it's still going to be, further down. Oh, that lockdown period just changed everything. And any brand that hasn't jumped into that space, you're still living in the old ways. If you are still doing your branding and doing your ads all based on product features, no. Today it's all about community. It's all about culture, lifestyle, identity. It's emotional connection. That's what today's target audience is asking us for. So that brand that gives that to them, you will see they will remain loyal to that brand.
Interesting. I really love where this conversation is going. What lessons has what lessons have you gotten? So I want to shape this the way you understand this better. You've worked at multiple companies before. What's one thing that is consistent each time you take over the campaign or you go out on the field? What's one thing that you know is consistent in marketing? You cannot just take out of it.
Your consumers.
Why?
Because without understanding your consumers, you end up losing your consumers.
So
and once you lose the consumers, what it means is, remember you asked, how do brands, there's some brands that have been there over and over again, because they're constantly understanding what are the changing habits of the consumers. Changing habits, so i.e. today, before the online social media and all that, if we want to shop, where do we go to? Mortar and bricks.
Yeah.
Go to the open market, go to supermarket, they're still there, right? However, today, the first thing they do is they pick up and check when they see a new brand, or they've heard about, somebody has referred, because word of mouth is still one of the biggest form of
referral.
Yes, for most of the categories. So you see, okay, my auntie mentioned it, or my friend mentioned this brand. They'll go online and check.
Yeah.
Because they want to know. So as things are changing, if brands are not going in the direction, you are not ensuring. Yes, when you look at contribution, it's still very small of what he gets from either your e-commerce sales and all of that is still small, but being in the space where your consumer, the touch points where they go to check, always ensuring that you are there keeps you relevant. That's one. Two, understanding that changing habits helps you to innovate. So I'll give an example. You know, okay. I'm not getting one of the brands that I manage. We found that okay, yes, we are selling, but something is off, and we need to understand what exactly is. And then we called one of the research agencies to say, you know what, you gave a brief, we need you to do a consumer immersion for these products. We want to understand what's happening, why are we losing sales. All of a sudden, we've just been going down in terms of our sales. We are not growing. What exactly do we need to do? Guess what? The feedback was, you're old, you're not trending anymore. So old in terms of aesthetics, old in terms of the kind of offerings that we are giving, that the people still relevant to, the brands are still relevant to are those that are in their 40s and, yeah. Oh my God. We're in trouble. And the Nigerian population today is seated where?
Yeah, among the young people between 15 to,
19. Yeah, that's where our population is seated. Wow. And they are telling us to our face straight, I'm sorry, you're not relevant to me. Do you want me to buy you? Give me what I want. That's understanding your consumer changing.
But this is so interesting.
Yeah.
Because if you're talking about demography, particularly marketing, I mean, we sit on the table of marketing, and then we realize that I want to say nearly the entire population at this point, because the fraction of the population that is not within that age range is just a minute fraction. You have a lot of young people in Nigeria today.
Mm-hmm.
You have to study their needs, like you rightfully said. How important is research? Because you highlighted this far. The conversation started about research and all of that. And I'm saying this because there are some people watching and they want to start a business. They want to do into business. But some people are confused, thinking that I have a business idea, all I need is marketing to push the business idea and I'll make money. Right? But how important is research when it comes to either road to market, launching a product, or starting a brand?
It's very important. So you have an idea. Beautiful. Have you tested it? That's what we call concept testing. And testing is not just putting, because typically what you see to cut costs, a couple of ideas, you just test around your employees around you. Are they your target audience? So again, I'll go back. You define your target audience. I have this idea. I want to do this. Then you get those target audience and, put that before them to see, test. Okay. Are they willing? Oh, yes, it meets my needs. I have these needs, which this brand, is fitting into. So tick. Okay. What's the size of price? I want to go into it. Does it make sense for me to go into it in terms of business opportunity? Okay, tick. How much are they willing to pay for it? Tick. I then take that and I test. Does that also, it's a business after all. Mm-hmm. Does it support my pricing, my profitability strategy? Okay, it does. You tick, because you have to also do at least top line financials to check. Once you have done all this, then is it a venture for me to go into? Also in that box, you have to also look at what, in this category, what's the route to markets? What are the channels? Because it's not one size fits all. So if I take cosmetics, for example, or beauty, you've got specialized channels for that. Or baby, for example, you've got specialized channels. So it's not everything that is sold everywhere. You have to define, do I have the route to market for this? All these things you check before you put in your investments, or as you end up investing, and then you have, because I've seen organization Somebody comes with a beautiful idea and they go ahead, they put in the capex, they buy the machines, and the machines are sitting. Because you've done the first product, it has gone into the market has rejected you.
Wow. So this is so interesting because when we're talking about a brand, people have the perception that when they hear brand, they think logo. Right?
Typically, that's what you get.
Yes, I want to, demystify it. I want you to give people understanding, learning to this myth.
So, like I said before, branding is not just the logo. It's not just the visual that you see. Branding is way beyond that. First and foremost, you have to define your target audience. Who do I want to sell this product to? So you have to define the value of the brands. You also have to define the identity. What's the brand personality? What's the tone of voice?
Yeah.
How am I going to my messaging?
Yeah.
You also have to define that emotional connect, because like I mentioned before, I keep going back. Today's target audience are peculiar. So that emotional connect is very important for them. If I connect with your brand, I will trust you. That's what branding does.
Emotional connect equals trust.
Exactly. Equals to loyalty.
Loyalty.
To come back to the purchase. But if you are just fixated on the logo, so why should I buy you? Trust. That's what that branding actually addresses. So marketing, what it does is it tells your target audience, I'm here. I'm not just saying I'm here. It shows them in the space where they can relate. So is it in terms of content, the kind of content that you create that they can relate to, or the kind of promotions, because marketing is also, that is also under marketing, kind of promotions, kind of discounts that you will give. And if you don't define the brands, you might end up doing a promotion that at the end of the day, you're watering down the brand. So I'll give you an example. So take iPhone, for example. Imagine iPhone is selling you, I'll give you a discount of 50%. How would you look at it? Given the positioning of iPhone premium.
No, we can cheap.
Exactly. So you see, but because the brand has been clearly defined, it's very easy for you to know what it is I need to do to promote it.
I like the example you gave, especially to ask all the questions that I really just want you to look at this. See, people say, I don't know if you heard the word affordable luxury before.
That's why I play.
Okay. Now, personally, I have a couple of biases, right? But, when people say affordable luxury, is that a niche itself? Because I know luxury. Is that a niche in itself, like people are trying to extract, or, what exactly it is?
So, I think the other part of marketing we also need to look at is your consumer. Remember, they do not have a final budget. You're in Nigeria, the situation in Nigeria today, right? We all aspire to be in that premium, but out of pocket cash might not give us that. And so I look for what's the next best thing. That's where terminology like that comes in. So you also have to understand that we do what we call segmentation. So you segment in terms of premium, mainstream, and value. Okay. Once you've defined each of that, so which segment do I want to play? Because you also have to take in the macroeconomic, environments of where you are. In today Nigeria, premium, is there, but how many people can afford it? So do I want to position myself in a place where I give my consumers a brand that gives them that feel? And there's so many ways you can create it. The aesthetics of the brand, look and feel.
Yeah.
It gives that, output for them. And then in doing that, you're also keeping them there, that at every point in time, they're able to actually enjoy that luxury they aspire for until, their economic, changes. So that's where affordable luxury comes in into play.
What makes a brand successful?
Combination of both branding and marketing.
Interesting.
One, it's not one or the other. So when you look at brands that have successfully done branding and marketing, you see that they remain relevant over time. The likes of your iPhone I mentioned, the likes of Nike, the likes of Coca-Cola. Yeah. They effectively combine branding and marketing.
In addition to that question, we might want to talk about the opposite. Have you seen brands fail, particularly in the process of rebranding before?
Like tipping too much.
Because this is what I'm saying, is some people in the middle of trying to be innovating.
They lose.
Yeah.
They end up.
Because it's risky to innovate sometimes. Innovation is extremely risky sometimes, particularly when people know you for something and you still want to be there, but you just want to now try to play in a different space and all that.
Okay, so what I've seen most brands do to mitigate that is, yes, I'm going to innovate. So like I said, first of all, it starts with your data. You understand exactly who exactly is this relevant. Do I still have people, my consumers rather, that are still interested in my core? Because what we're speaking to them is the core that has been there. If yes, okay, what do I need to do? Maintain what actually is sustaining the brand. Do a few, changes in terms of aesthetics, but you maintain the core. And then your innovation, you can then begin to explore variants. So you see that happen a lot in most of the FMCGs brands, like your home care brands, your personal care brands, where you have the core and then you now have different variants coming in. That's the way most brands try to protect what it is, But where you do a complete change and you go away from the core that you are known for, that's recipe for failure.
Wow.
But once you understand, is this still relevant? Except your consumers are totally telling you, we no longer, this is your brand. I'm sorry, we have moved on. And so you then know, you know what? I have to change everything. Interesting. So that's basically.
Now, someone might be watching, or an executive at a company can be watching, and they'll say, you know what, I love what you're saying, fantastic, but our brand is at a point where they've suffered some type of image disruption. Maybe something happened, the brand's image has been tarnished, and they're saying, how do we mitigate? How do we come out of this season that we are in so that we can get back our consumer trust and loyalty?
I've had to do that on a brand.
Fantastic. So
I'll give you that example. I mean, this is a brand that is a household name. I'll mention the brand name, but I'll just mention the category. Dishwasher, it's in a dishwasher category. And we were having so many faking.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
So the packaging was built in such a way that it can, we used to tease it, we say it can last decades. And so what happens is when the user finishes with it, they just throw it away. They don't destroy it. And so they get picked. And because it's fast selling, we now had, oh my God, it was somebody actually came to the office and said, please, I'm looking for the people managing this brand. I want to report what is happening. Wow. Okay. And she said, I know the place where they are doing it. I will take you there. I said, madam, okay, calm down. Calm down. Calm down. And then we took that. So that, because we saw what's happening. We are declining. People are no longer picking us. They said, because they couldn't differentiate original from fake. And so we had to do brainstorming to say, you know what, we need to fix this because it was impacting us. It was impacting our market share. It was impacting our profitability. So we had to do a complete overhaul. So, but we didn't do them at once because we also did not want to have, the question you asked, when you do a complete change, how do you maintain? So we did it. We put it in stages. So first stage, you know what? We'll maintain this same look and feel in terms of the packaging, but we'll change the aesthetics. We'll change the label design. We'll make it transparent from opaque, take it out because we want people to see the product, to be able to identify once they see, because they couldn't see it, whatever is put inside, you don't know until you start using. But by the time we did that, yes, this is, once you bring something else, I can identify.
Wow.
That was one. Two, we also did research to find out, okay, in terms of effectiveness, am I still very effective? And the reviews wasn't pleasant. And so we had to then say, okay, let's benchmark our competitors. Let's see what's happening. Where are we missing it? And we saw, oh my God, my competitor has increased some active in theirs. That is now, I'm saying I'm number one. Somebody else is beginning to flog me and I didn't know. So that goes back to competitive analysis. You have to constantly be doing that. And so, okay, so we now know what to fix. So we reformulated, we changed the look and feel, we maintained the same packaging. We launched. We had a phase 2 where we are changing everything completely.
Wow.
And trademarking that bottle. Nobody's going to look like us. Nobody's going to be able to, come in that space again. We are going to own our space. And today, in that category, is still the number one.
Wow, absolutely amazing. I loved how the approach was. It's so beautiful. So we're going to play the game right now, and the game is titled this or that. Give you 2 options and then give me your preference. So, brand loyalty or sales conversion?
Brand loyalty.
Why?
It keeps them coming.
Okay. Emotional connection or promotional offers? Ladies and gentlemen, let me help you answer this one. She'll go for emotion.
Yeah.
We know. Logo and identity or ads campaign?
Logo and identity.
Okay. Long-term perception or short-term results?
Long-term.
Okay. Storytelling or direct selling?
Storytelling.
Why storytelling?
Because the storytelling builds that emotional connects that we are speaking to.
True. Very true. Consistency or variety?
Consistency. Variety is very short while.
Customer experience or customer acquisition?
Customer experience any day.
Brand reputation or market reach?
Brand reputation.
Okay. So from where you sit now, I ask this one. Apple style branding or aggressive discount marketing?
It's a function of the positioning of the brands.
I agree. Trust or visibility?
Trust. And then
I like how you answered it. Retention or lead generation?
I'm not sure it's an all thing. So that's why I kind of hesitate a bit because the lead generation leads to retention.
That makes sense. Minimalist branding or loud marketing?
We work together.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have an exciting one here with Vivian, and I know that you learned a lot. I want you to please rewind, listen again. Any final words for anybody who is in marketing watching us?
Okay. I would say just keep doing what you believe in. Know that branding is never branding or marketing. It is branding and marketing. That's what gives you the best results. So just always keep that at the back of your mind. And when you have to take those hard decisions, yeah, because we don't have infinite budgets, the business is always asking, which is. Yeah. But always remember, having both is what delivers the best result for the brand. And that's what that long term that we all desire for our brands, that constantly both codes are loyalists always picking us.
Wow. Absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. Ladies and gentlemen, it was an exciting episode. Like, share, hit the notification button so that you'll be the first person to get notified whenever a new video is uploaded. I will see you on the next episode. Cheers. Bye-bye.
Free audio post-production by alphonic.com.